Hello. Now let's try to find the quadratic function for a parabola where some conditions are given. Here's the first one for you. So here we need to find quadratic function for a parabola with x-intercepts of -2 and 6 and y-intercept of 5. Okay, so we can start off and do the algebraic part and do it. But it's better always to understand the problem, right? So here we have, let's try to sketch it first. So we have a quadratic function for with x-intercepts at -2. Let's say this is like here -2 and 6. Let's say this is 2 and then 2, 4, and let's say this is 6, right? And then y-intercept is, let's say, around, we say 2, 4, and let's say this is 6 and this is 5. So this is kind of these are the values. And if x-intercept is -2 and 6, then axis of symmetry is going to be somewhere right in the middle of that, which is like -2 plus 6 divided by 2, which is 4 divided by 2 at around this point, I think, at 2, right? So I'm just trying to make a rough sketch before I just start answering the question, right? So we have this kind of a parabola here. This is my point, this is my point. So let me just bring it down like this, kind of like this, and then here like this, right? So that's my parabola where I'm expecting this is my axis of symmetry. This point is my y-intercept, which is at 5, and these are my x-intercepts at -2. Let me write up here, and 6. Let me write here. Normally these values should be written below the x-axis, okay? But like we're taking liberties. F of x, right? So that's the quadratic function, a very rough sketch here. And we will try now to find equation of this parabola, right? So you should expect a value to be negative because opening downwards, right? Now, if you're given intercepts, the best form of equation to use is factored form, correct? So we'll use factored form and try to figure out the answer. So f of x is equals to a times x minus intercepts, which is -2. So a minus of -2 becomes +2 times x minus, which is 6. So that's our equation in factored form. Now we need to find what a is, right? Some students don't really, first they don't even write down a, and therefore there's no question of finding it, right? And they land up with this as their answer. Well, think like this. If you don't write a, then you're not really, then the parabolas could be many, right? Like this, even like this. Do you see that? Any parabola can go through this. That we call a family of parabolas. But here, this one is very specific. Why? Because we know the y-intercept, and that point helps us to find the value of a, right? Remember that for always. Now here the x value is 0, do you see that? And the y value is 5. So we will put 0 for x and say f of 0 is equal to a times 0 plus 2 times 0 minus 6, correct? Now, what is f of 0? The value of function at 0 is 5. That is a y-intercept, okay? So y-intercept is a times 2 here, and then -6 there, right? Now, from here we can solve for a, and let me write this as 5 equals to -12 a, and therefore a is equals to 5 over, we'll divide by this and -12. Now, once we know a is this, we can write on our function, right? And therefore our answer is f of x is equal to is minus 5 over 12. It is always better to write minus either here or here, right? Not with the denominator, correct? I was dividing by -12 and therefore I wrote like this, but strictly speaking I should have written like this, okay? This is a better way of writing. And then x plus 2 and x minus 6. Now, once you've got the answer, it's always a good idea to check your answer, right? Now let's check it. Now, if I plug in minus 2 here, so this factor becomes 0, minus 2 plus 2, and therefore my value of f of x also becomes 0, and I do get an x-intercept here, correct? If I put 6 here, then 6 minus 6 is 0, so one of the factors is 0, so multiplying that will get 0, right? So at that point also the value of f of x is 0, so that is another x-intercept. How about 5? If I plug in 0 here, then this will be 2 times 6 as minus 12. Minus 12 will go by minus 12 minus 1 times, and you'll get minus 5 times minus 1 as plus 5 as a y-intercept. So this represents our parabola, and that's the way to do it. Okay, we'll see some more examples to find the equation of parabola given different conditions. Here intercepts were given, sometimes points will be given, sometimes vertex will be given, right? From all those different conditions, we can find the equation of parabola, correct? I hope you understand the method. It's very simple. Just follow the steps, okay? And look into the other videos of finding the equation of quadratic functions from given conditions. Okay, thank you.